Hello everyone, and welcome to another one of my vlogs here. I thought I'd actually go through the comment cards again here that we did at annual conference. I know I did it already. Was it day one? I think it was day one. But we did more comment cards on day two and stuff, but I was actually kind of disappointed at the number of cards that we got. What is it here? There's probably like 15 in total. And I mean, we had over 200 attendees, and comment cards were left out all day long with a pile of pencils by them. I would have loved more feedback, because I even prompted that twice during conference where I personally was up there talking, and I think several other people had mentioned these cards were around and stuff. But one of the things here is our membership usually wants, how do I put this? Gosh. Over the years, I have just heard from different members that they feel money should be spent in this way. They feel like perks should be this. Perks shouldn't be that. That conference could be better if we did it this way. That, you know, everybody has a slew of opinions. And I hear a few of them just directly to me, but outside of that, we were really asking you to give us some direction, because the last thing we ever want is to attend a business meeting and have a chunk of our membership upset that we got these great ideas in our head, but it wasn't what a consensus of our members really wanted. So I guess with further ado, I'll pop into these. So right off the bat here, somebody here is wanting more transparency. They want to know more about the money and the transactions that we have throughout the year. Grant recipients, they would like us to publish the minutes and decisions, and things of that nature. That's part of why I'm doing this vlog here, is just so that as these things unfold, I can share some of it with you guys. Trust me, if you literally saw a published copy of our minutes from each meeting, you'd immediately have like 100 people writing in, please do not bother us with this. This is eating up our buzz. This is, wasting our time. Because here's the thing, minutes are wrote out as the problem. And maybe a brief discussion of that is, a synopsis is wrote with the problem. And then we sit there and we talk, sometimes for an obnoxiously long amount of time, because it may be a simple matter, and we take 45 minutes to talk about said matter and chase a few rabbits down some rabbit holes on the matter. But in the end, it boils down then to about 30 seconds for somebody to make a motion and for that vote to pass. In the minutes, none of that discussion is there. It just is, so-and-so made this motion, so-and-so seconded it, motion passes. So even if we were transparent in printing those out, you're going to miss all of the main course of that meal. You're just going to see the appetizer at the beginning, and you're going to see the dessert at the end, and have missed all of the context that was with that stuff. So that could still really rub you guys wrong. Case in point, there's a financial matter that comes up, and we talk about it for 45 minutes, and the minutes don't reflect any of that. We don't put an audio recording on it and print in the minutes, word for word, what was said. What you would see then is just the board's decision, and maybe you disagree with that, but if you had heard the whole 45-minute conversation, you'd see it was a really well thought out plan, and it wasn't an easy decision to then make a ruling on that. But that's why you don't see the minutes published, is it would just actually cause more problems. So any time that I feel like there's a financial matter come up here that might pique your interest, I'll try to do a vlog on it and waste a whole bunch of your time discussing it and dancing around the subject like I am right now. But anyhow, there was a few of those there where people were mentioning that they wanted more transparency, and etc. like that. So again, that's why I'm doing this, because that was the trend here of people asking for things. Another thing here. You guys are a split decision on this. It's confusing and hard for us to move forward on this as a board, because it seems like half of you want us to have all sorts of perks and stuff. Like this one here. All board members should get all expenses paid for annual conference. That includes hotel stay, meals, conference fee, mileage, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on here. And there was another one like that here. And then yet there is 2 other comment cards here that is pointing out that the board is composed of volunteers. And volunteers give of themselves selflessly. They aren't there for a paycheck. They aren't there to, go ahead and have nice meals and this and that all catered to them. Just board members themselves. I know there is half to 2/3 of the board that on an annual basis, even if they get some sort of a stipend from IHPA because of working state fair or some other position, they end up donating anywhere from that salary to 5 times that salary back into IHPA. Your board is volunteers. So I don't even know where to go with this, because the comments that we've gotten thus far is half of membership thinks that the board should get more perks, and half of membership is pointing out, no, we like it that you guys are volunteers and selfless. So that's probably going to be something that just gets kicked around all this year, unless we start getting overwhelming comments or people writing into us or things of that nature to sway that and make a majority going that it should go one way or the other. Have digital presentation. I apologize here if I butcher reading some of these. Handwriting or the way people write themselves. Some people did shorthand on these notes, and other people have real fancy cursive or things of that nature. So it makes me stumble a little on these. But this person's asking, have digital presentations available, login provided. Record and have available presentations, login provided. And this person here and several others were wanting 10-minute breaks between presentations and breakouts to allow you to walk around and get to your next class, and B, so that the presenters, when they have to use the same room, have time for switch over and setting up any products they need to show, setting up any demonstrations that they need to have there, and etc. Yes, that makes perfect sense. That's definitely a critique that we'll be looking at for the 2023 conference. As for having presentations and recording all of the talks, it's something we're going to have to look into. Most of our presenters don't want to share their PowerPoints. Plain and simple, they've spent a lot of time building those. And even if we password protected it for attendees, they still don't want attendees to have a copy of their PowerPoint. I understand that. I've developed several classes that I teach, and it would really offend me and make me angry if I gave out that PowerPoint and sometime 3 to 5 years down the road, I find somebody else has just changed out the photos that show me in it, added a little bit to the presentation maybe themselves, and then rolled it out as their own class and tried to present it as their developed product. It would infuriate me. And a lot of these people, they are professors that travel all over the United States doing these talks. They don't want to give out their PowerPoints either. So that'll be a tough one to ever get all of the stuff for you. There may be a few people that are willing to offer that up. As for recorded sessions of the talks, We will look into that. We are not brushing this aside. We actually did record several of the Zoom calls, and we had permission on it to go ahead and put that on a YouTube channel for you guys to view. Just go to YouTube and just type in Iowa honey producers, and you should be able to find those YouTubes right there. I mean, these vlogs are on that YouTube channel, but it'll be under the playlist for classes and presentations. There's a descriptor out there for that. I can't say that we'll have all presentations recorded and put out there in future years or future events, simply because, again, we have speakers come in and they find that if you record it and throw it out there, that people keep wanting you to come up with more and more presentations that are different, or you stop getting invited to B groups because all of your stuff is already free on YouTube for everybody to watch. So there are forces that work against us for sharing everything. I know from John Q. Public that's sitting at home, you all want that stuff. Of course you do. Everybody wants free access to this stuff. But then that does hurt our presenters to a degree. So anyhow, that covers that. All right. I have really enjoyed this year's conference. I am excited about the direction the association is headed. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see here. I feel the new faces of the... This is one of those I'm having a little trouble reading, but I feel the new faces of the leadership and board have re-energized the organization in the last year, and feel the current leadership, along with the addition of Sarah Todd, will continue this momentum. Fabulous. I guess I don't really have to talk much about this, but me personally, I'm sorry, I've been working on a motor. Me personally, I've been trying hard. Any chance I can, I've been trying to develop new programs. I've been trying to push us to dust off the old programs and, make things new, lively, give you guys more. An association that constantly hits the repeat button on things, that's the type that over time loses members and fades away. People don't necessarily just want everything to be repeated over and over and over again. So it kind of is touching to, have anybody reach out and talk about the things that you've done is moving in a positive direction, especially when you've been trying hard. Let's see here. The QA last-minute pivot in place of Randy Oliver's second presentation was so helpful. And there's another one around here. The QA panel, again, another person was exceptionally happy with the QA panel, and they just wished that more of our big speakers could have joined that panel. We threw that together last minute because our speaker for that session, Randy Oliver, right? Yep, Randy Oliver. Sorry, I just didn't want to say the wrong name there. Somehow, some way, with him being in a different time zone, when he said yes to another, another Zoom call at that same time, he was lined up with two different associations, the Iowa Honey Producers and another association in a different time zone, different state. He had agreed to do talks that day for both. And somehow there was a mix-up between his time zone, their time zone, and our time zone, and our two talks lined up at the same time. And they started theirs ahead of time, logging him in, and he didn't even realize that the other one was sending him a notice like 15 seconds later saying, hey, join ours, join ours. So anyhow, we were left without a class at that point. We were left without a talk. Last minute things like that pop up. So instead of just having dead space, the idea to pull a few well-respected beekeepers, any speakers that we had brought to the event. We just were in a mad rush to grab people and bring them up there and do a Q&A for you guys. We probably should have just had a Q&A as a breakout. We usually do most years, but this year not having one worked in our favor so we could fill in that mistake. And then I heard personally a lot of thank yous and happiness that we didn't miss that talk with Randy Oliver, and we instead could move it later that day. I do apologize that it was during Michael Palmer's talk, because some people did want to attend both, but it gave you the option of deciding which one you valued the most and going to that one. So anyhow, it was a happy mistake, and I'm glad you guys liked it. All right, here. Great. To avoid the appearance of non-transparency, could you keep the membership informed by putting minutes and treasury reports? This is I should have put this with the other one. And this one specifies they want it in the buzz. We can, but again, minutes are a tough one, because I would have to write up the conversation and the context that went with any of the stated problems and the decisions there, or else this would just become problematic. You would see a glimpse of, so the situation is we're hungry. The result was we spent this much, and not the consideration that went into said problem and weighing the balances of other financial commitments and things of that nature. And again, this is just an example. But minutes, I don't see us publishing. Treasury reports, we do plan on putting the treasury reports probably on a quarterly basis, because quite frankly, if we did treasury reports every single month, you're going to see some months of the year where the only thing on the treasury report was a renewal for our domain, and nothing else was submitted. And then when we get more like right at state fair time, you're going to see a treasury report that's 3 pages long of us buying plastic cups, lemon juice, 5 different permits, the insurance, paying for this or that, getting screws and nails and boards for fixing up stuff in the booth, a fresh coat of lacquer. The list goes on and on and on, because for State Fair, there is tons of purchases made to make that thing go on, and you'd see a huge treasury report there. So just not so as to not have that dead space, we'll probably make it on a quarterly basis. But we do have plans this year of doing that. Membership feels out of touch and doesn't know what is being done by officers and board. Again, the whole reason for this vlog here is to try and fix some of that stuff. Again, I'm just doing what I can to try to make you guys happier, without just, doing crazy, stupid stuff. Let's see here. That's covered. All right. Less speakers, more time per speakers, and I want more time socializing. We're actually moving in that opposite direction for 2023. Yes, I want more time between speakers, just like that other comment card said. We need time to give people the opportunity to walk to the next event, to do a bathroom break, to get a drink of water or some honey lemonade or something. We need time for people to set up the next presentations and roll things out. You can't just say, oh, this class ends at 4:45 and the next one starts at 4:45. You've got to have some time in between there. And we also, something that the board has talked about and not necessarily was on any comment cards, we need timekeepers, so that our speakers know they have 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, and that 5 minutes left includes Q&A, because then they're going to be stepping on the toes of the next speaker type of thing. We just got to be better about cutting our presenters off when their class ends so that the next presenter isn't then presenting 15 minutes late. And then the next one is half an hour late on top of that 15 minutes late. And by the time you get towards the end of the day, you're like trying to push an hour and 45 minutes back on the banquet dinner or something like that. You know, there's only so much time in the day, so you can't have every single session running over by 15, 20 minutes, or else you just got to cut some stuff out of your program. Let's see. This person would like a spouse rate for the convention, and they're suggesting maybe half price. More spouses would come, and therefore more money. Okay. Yes. There is a certain portion of our event dollars that would not be affected by that just more attendees would be beneficial. There are other things there where we can't really budge on the dollars unless we're going to then start digging into the general fund of the IHPA, because if we also did like half-price meals or dinners or anything like that, well, then we're going in the hole on the event, and that probably wouldn't work, but definitely a good idea for us to consider there. I just don't want to get to the point where you go into register for conference and you suddenly have a youth price, then you have a young professional price for those people in the college range, and then you have a senior citizen price, and then you have a general price, and then you have a veterans price, and then you have another discount and another discount and another discount, and it becomes this huge mess. Checkout needs to be fairly simple, and you can get to the point that there's too many exceptions, but definitely another good one for us to consider as a board and see if we can't weigh our options on it. Thank you for that suggestion. All right. This one, I'm not sure if it's actually a suggestion, but I'll read through it here. This conference by far is the best and well-organized bee conference I have ever attended. My husband was the guest speaker. We want to thank you for all your kindness and generosity. Well, thank you. On behalf of the IHPA, thank you for your comments. The venue, the accommodations, the food were all outstanding. Keep up the great work. Oh, and that's just a comment about handwriting. So, again, thank you for your comments. We do... It maybe shouldn't be the case, but in today's society, very rarely do people go out of their way and actually give you positive feedback, give you thank yous, tell you that you're doing a good job. Everybody is right on the ball with telling you when they think you're making a mistake or when they had a negative situation come up, a unpleasant experience. That's always reported to 10 of their buddies and put on social media and everything else. But actually having somebody take the time to say, hey, I appreciate what you're doing, it's amazing, and it's a good feeling when it does happen. So thank you for that. We've had a few people actually at the business meeting. It was decided that the membership price would go from $20 to $30 starting December 1st. And that was because over the years, the price of printing costs, inflation for all of the fees that the printing company does, the paper costs, the inks, the postage. I mean, just if you look over the last 10 years, postage has almost doubled. All of those things add up. And to solve the problem of today's day and age, emails having too strong of security features, our buzz just is ending up in more and more people's spam and trash. And while we have given so many suggestions on fixing that, the biggest one is add us to your contacts list and fish those emails out of your trash and leave them in your inbox there. But definitely add us to your contact list. And a lot of email programs, that'll actually keep our emails from going to your trash, because it'll say, this person is one of my owner's buddies. They write to him because it's in our contact list, and it doesn't then filter the emails to trash. It doesn't fix it on all systems, because like I believe my Gmail now doesn't even have a contact list anymore. It'll autofill the stuff, but it won't let me add somebody to it. So I have to write an email to them. I guess in that case, if you wrote an email to IHPA editor just saying, hi, I hope you have a lovely day, it might add her to your contact list that way. But anyhow, I am chasing rabbits here, am I not? A few of our members were very strongly opinionated about wanting membership to be raised to $30 because they didn't want this fix to, I don't know, be a crutch that our general fund had to keep paying for, because it literally costs us $30 a year per head of household to print and mail you the buzz and take care of all the other associated fees with things. So in that realm of things, there was a few people that were very adamant, and the membership as a whole was very adamant, that rather than hurting the general fund, membership dues should really be increased to what the actual cost is there, and that you get a ton of other perks with your membership anyhow, like reduced conference costs, reduced summer field day costs, opportunities for your kids to get college scholarship, all these other things that membership should just go ahead and have that at least be a wash there, where membership dues did cover then the printing of our monthly newsletter. However, some of you here have written in these cards or wrote us emails individually and said, I actually get the electronic version of the Buzz. Please don't email me a copy of the Buzz, but I am happy to still pay the $30 a year, which means that they're technically making a $10 donation at that point. It's actually more than that now that I think about it, because that's when you consider everything, that's actually a $30 donation at that point, because it doesn't cost us anything to email you the Buzz. But that would actually be going to the positive side of things, where you're helping fund programs, or at least your membership is a wash off of the discount then that you get at annual conference. So anyhow, thank you very much for the offer to only get the electronic version of the Buzz. Again, you don't need to do that, but I wanted to note here in the cards that some people have done that, and we thank you. I hope I haven't rambled on too long. Oh, geez, 28 minutes. I apologize, but there was a good number of cards and information to get through, and I hope I've provided you with some more clarity. For those of you that have never vlogged before or never tried to film yourself on your own cell phone camera, you have a nasty habit of wanting to look at your own face on the camera instead of where the actual camera piece is there. So I apologize if it seems like I keep looking past you guys. I'm trying to get in the habit of this. But anyhow, have a wonderful day, and I hope that we can keep excelling for you. Take care.